Well, I must admit that to some extent, expectations were very high as far as oral is concerned. And there was an impression that we created in the minds of people that immediately the government takes over, we'll see active prosecution and some, in fact, sentencing and people going to jail by now and being punished. And don't forget that oral is not just about punishment, also about recovering the loot.
Yeah.
And so expect that the amounts of that was put out there by now would have been recovering some amount of money out, but unfortunately we are not seeing it. But that also because we do not take into consideration certain systematic bottlenecks that we need to take care of. I mean, you can't just go arrest people, take them to court the next day, and then the next following day they find themselves in the in Sawam. Naturally, they have to go through processes. Sawam resonates better than Ankafo. So yeah, and so you naturally would expect that some people would, and because most people don't understand the legal processes very well, they think that, oh no, once you say you have evidence, then it means the next day you should find people in jail, and the next moment you should be recovering some monies. It takes time, it takes processes. Don't forget that the initial committee work is not an investigative process that can lead to prosecution. The evidence and the whatever was derived are what you may call leaks that will lead you into getting concrete evidence that can stand the test of prosecution. Perhaps, yes. And some of them too are based on perceptions and what have been heard. Now, the investigation will rather unravel what can lead to prosecution and possibly what can help the Attorney General to derive some amount of recoveries of what has been perceived as looted. And so we expect that some bottlenecks will face some bottlenecks. But as it stands now, I can have some glimpse of hope that the Attorney General is up and doing. I mean, we've seen some bills being sent to Parliament, particularly in respect of the tribunals, that they're bringing back the tribunals, which will perhaps be quicker and faster and dedicated to particularly prosecution of some of these cases. Oh yes, it has to always be in the future. No, but respective inspect of crimes that are alleged to have been committed. Don't forget that the tribunal is not set up as the basis to establish crime. It is a forum for the prosecution of crimes that is alleged to have been committed. And so once the crimes have been committed, then the tribunals can go ahead to prosecute. And if they are able to establish the crimes against the alleged persons, why not? So be it. But of course, we all know that the entire system has its own issues. And mind you, legal processes run very slowly. I mean, accused persons have rights to challenge certain procedural errors. They have right to even challenge the laws that have been used to prosecute them. And that is why we've seen that my learned friend Gary Nemako is challenging some issues regarding the witnesses that have been called in this case of his case. Exactly. And don't be surprised that we are don't be surprised that we are having amendments of the charge sheet and introducing new charges. Sometimes in the course of the case, things come up that will require the Attorney General to adjust or perhaps drop some charges, amend some charges, add new charges that would help him to prosecute his case. So it is not strange and it's not out of place at all to have the Attorney General amend the charges and then as the case progresses.
Amazing.
But after a year into the trial?
Oh, it doesn't really matter. In fact, sometimes in some very rare cases, even the day before judgment, if new facts come to the attention of the Attorney General, he could withdraw the charge sheet and amend the charge sheet.
Interesting.
Yes.
Lamtiig, thank you very much for that addition to the conversation.
Case.
Okay.
Yeah, Gregory Afoko rather, sorry.
We'll move on the conversation, and that'll be it for the conversation around ORAL, the National Service Authority. And we'll now delve into the Middle East, right? Tensions are escalating. Yesterday it came to the fore when U.S. President was engaging journalists. He said that the war would be ending soon. and some analysts are reporting marginal dips in terms of oil prices. Yesterday on the Point of View on ChannelOne TV, Bernard Ables spoke to an economic policy analyst, Senyo, who said that he doesn't expect any fuel shortage, I beg your pardon. And of course, Comac have also been speaking on radio yesterday. Seaboard also spoke. In fact, the Energy Ministry, Yusuf Suleiman, who works with the ministry, also said that government was working to increase, the barrels we produce at all from about 25,000 to 45,000 a day. And all of that is to safeguard, our fuel security. So I'll start off the conversation with you again, Lamtiig. The war, as we know, yesterday Trump said the war was going to end soon. Of course, he couldn't specify how soon or give, specific timelines. What are your thoughts around all that's happening after almost a week or more than a week into this war?
Well, thank you. Some of us have held a view that some nations, particularly the US and Europe, who are at war today against Iran, are failing to respect international law as supposed to be, because the whole world agreed per the UN Charter to subscribe to certain charter, certain conditions that would be prevalent before any act of war or any aggression against any state can be taken. Now, if you observe carefully, this war is not sanctioned by the UN. There's no resolution passed, no pronouncement at the Security Council, yet US at war. Nonetheless, the war is ongoing, and it clearly tells us the reality is that there are countries that are stronger in terms of economy, in terms of their military might, that sometimes can have their way despite the entire obligations that they sign up to. The effect on some of these things are on smaller countries like Ghana and particularly Africa, where we depend a lot on the importation of crude, where we depend on other goods that are imported into our economy to support our economy. Now, naturally, you would have some effect because the supply will be affected. We will not have adequate supply because of the war, and particularly matters happening in the Middle East. What I am quite worried about is that it appears we on this side are raising the anxiety and whipping up public sentiment of a likely increment. And we are not careful, we may also create problems for people who have goods that they intend to sell, but we rather hoard it now, anticipating a price increase, and then would now put it out when the prices go up. What that may happen is that there will be an artificial shortage caused by that perception of likely increase. They are going to increase fuel here and there, and we have these speculations going on. I mean, it is right for people to anticipate some increment because of what is happening in the Middle East, which is fair. But the continuous heightened discussions about it and some unnecessary speculations is creating some uncertainty. I mean, I am happy that comments from Trump in the last 24 hours regarding the end to the war has rather brought the crude prices quickly back down again. I mean, we crossed the $100 mark.
I think it's 93 now.
And it has come down to 93.
No, but it came down before the press conference.
Really?
Yeah, it came down.
It came down.
Yeah, it went to 100.
Yes.
And then started coming down before the press conference.
Okay,
Maybe
I did
the
not
press
observe
conference.
that.
Yeah.
I did observe that, but I observed almost immediately after the press conference,
conference.
it dropped down
It
to
dropped
93.
down.
I mean, which also gives us comfort that our initial fear that prices will shoot up so high may not necessarily happen if the war will truly end soon, or at least gives us hope that we don't need to hoard. Let's continue to have hope. But it clearly also tells us that our economy is not entirely in our hands. We also suffer external factors.
What did you say? Sorry.
Leave me alone.
No, but we suffer
listen,
external factors.
You should appreciate that. You should appreciate that. No opportunity. I know why you are driving at, but don't worry.
You said plenty things, but
Our economy is not immune.
Just mention Russia and Ukraine.
Don't mind
And
him.
you'll be fine.
That's what he wants me to say. our economy is not immune from external factors. We are not an entirely independent, isolated
We're not
country.
an island.
We are not an island.
Really?
No, we are not.
Okay.
But
I'm listening.
there's an extent to which you can continuously blame
The
external
mileage
factors.
doesn't matter.
It matters.
Oh, okay.
It matters. I'm saying that there is an extent to which you can continuously blame external factors for what you ought to do in situations like this. I mean, we know that this, luckily for us, with what is happening in the Middle
You
East,
now know or you know?
we have always known. Always known. I'm trying to make a mass.
Doc, let him make his point.
Sorry.
Yes, Lamtiig.
We've
news
always
to me.
known.
No,
We've
Lamtiig,
always known.
please.
It is news to
Listen
me.
to
That's
me.
why.
Listen
Sorry.
to me and listen carefully.
Why are you
It is-
trying to equalize?
Don't mind him.
Why are you trying to equalize?
See, our ability to manage the economy now will be tested now that we are having some external shocks.
These global shocks.
Exactly.
Oh.
And that is when you will see the true ability of economic management as compared to what your government did during the Ukraine-Russian war, where you blamed everything on Ukraine-Russia. Even other countries were recovering. We still suffered under Ukraine-Russian war. Excuses.
Thank you very
But
much.
Move away from it. Just have hope that the managers of the economy...
I'm always hopeful.
Oh, I'm glad you're hopeful. The managers of the economy are handling the world, and we anticipate better management going forward.
Amazing.
Yeah.